First, familiarize yourself. Look at the detailed computer-generated installation plan to see where all elements should be positioned. Mark the position of the thermostat approximately 1.5 meters above the subfloor. Protect from direct sunlight and drafts. Drill a 65 mm hole in the wall to mount a standard wall socket for the thermostat. Drill 2 holes under the thermostat as close as possible to the concrete subfloor. For concrete walls, use a circular saw to chase a channel into the wall and then remove the concrete in between with a chisel to run the conduits through it. Clean the subfloor with a vacuum cleaner. Make sure every piece of dust is gone. Carefully attach an elastic joint or seal to the wall around the heated area. This will serve as an expansion joint. Also plan for joints between separately operated heating circuits and adjoining unheated areas. Run the conduits through the wall socket and mount it in the wall. Start laying the isolation plates. The isolation plates will lower the power consumption of the heating system, but if needed, the QuickNet mats can be installed directly on the concrete subfloor. Drill 8 holes through the board into the subfloor, 2 in the center and 6 on the edges to give an optimal fixation. Fix the board with the fixing pins. On wooden subfloors, you can screw the isolation plates using the isolation washers to replace the isolation fixing pins. At the wall, cut the board to the right length with a knife. Continue laying the isolation plates until the entire surface is covered. Make sure the joints are staggered with a minimum of 15 centimeters and the plates don't bridge any expansion joints. For installation of the floor sensor, cut a piece of 1 cm by 50 cm from the isolation plate at the conduit holes in the wall. Slide the floor sensor through the conduit. don't forget to install the end cap. Glue the conduit to the subfloor and keep it in place. Perform an insulation resistance test with a minimum test voltage of 500 volts. We recommend a test voltage of 2500 volts. The result should be greater than 100 megaohm. Fill in the test result on the commissioning form. Measure the heating mat resistance and compare the measured value with the prescribed value in the reference table. Slide the power cable of the heating mat through the conduit. Start installing the mat. Make sure the sensor is positioned between two cable runs and connection of the heating mat is not twisted. Unroll the mat and push the self-adhesive side on the subfloor. Keep a distance of 50 mm from the wall. Upon reaching the wall, cut the heating mat and turn it around. Be careful not to cut or damage the cable. Continue this until the heating mat is completely installed. The heating mat can be cut or the cable can be removed from the mat for installation in narrow spaces, but make sure the cables do not cross and respect the distance between the cables in order to avoid overheating. Perform another insulation resistance test with a minimum test voltage of 500 volts. We recommend a test voltage of 2500 volts. The result should be greater than 100 megaohm. Record the test result on the commissioning form. Measure the heating mat resistance and compare the measured value with the reference table.